Galamera, 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 how are you this morning? Well, as you can see, it's an absolutely glorious day. You'll notice as well that my broadcast is rather early this morning. And the reason for that is we're up with the larks because we want to get down to the ECA office in town. They were on strike yesterday and we're going in there this morning basically to try and get some semblance of activity in regards people with ECA who've had issues with the fact the statuses of businesses have changed on the business that they work for. And I'll come on to that just a little later. But what I'll do, I'll just crack on with the updates of the news today. Quite a lot been going on within the last 24 hours. First of all, just want to say thank you to all those people yesterday. Happy Thanksgiving, especially to my American and Canadian viewers and Australian viewers as well. I hope you had a good day yesterday, despite everything that was going on. Well, it is now 27th of November. Can't believe we're not that far off the end of the month. Okay, it is now day 21 of the lockdown. These are the COVID stats for Greece within the last 24 hours. Greek Health confirmed on Thursday night 2,018 new infections, which was down on the Wednesday, which drove the number of infections to 99,306 since the pandemic started. Of these new cases, only 2 of them were actually reported at entry points into the country. And that was down from 6 from the day before. So obviously people aren't bringing infection into the country. Well, the country's virtually locked down at the moment. That's to be quite honest. The good thing is there's no new cases here on Zakynthos. However, Corfu has had another 6 cases. Unfortunately, we've had 99 new deaths on yesterday. Bringing the total number of fatalities now to 2,001. Rather a poignant number, actually, when you think about it. Anyway, the average age of those who've passed away was 80 years of age with underlying health conditions, the majority of whom were men. As for people in ICUs, in incubation, the total number of incubated patients rose to 608. With the average age of those being 65, although there are younger people in the ICUs at the moment. However, 505 people have left the ICU. So the ICUs are still under pressure here in Greece at the moment. Anyway, the big story at the moment on the island is yesterday midday, a 19-year-old young man from Zakynthos was killed in a car crash. The accident took place outside the church of Agios Shambalis in Agogiskos. I'm not exactly sure where that is. I've been trying to find that on the map. Anyway, the young man was driving his car. He lost control. He went off course. He spun in the opposite direction. Eyewitnesses said that he swerved, hitting a OTE telephone pole, and then his car finally crashed through the low wall of the courtyard of the church, where it finally stopped. Now, first reports in the afternoon indicated that the young man was alive when he was moved to the hospital. However, unfortunately, later in the day, he succumbed to his injuries. And we'd like to offer his family our condolences at this point for their loss. Also, as well, yesterday, the Greek government confirmed yesterday afternoon that the lockdown in Greece will be extended until at least December the 7th. Further decisions will depend on the advice from the government's experts and the overall epidemiology data that they get. Future lifting of measures will go ahead when the government deems it's prudent and will be gradual, with restrictions on kindergartens and primary schools likely to be the first to be lifted. However, he reacted to the government extension until December the 7th, the reaction to this government announcement or government extension is that some doctors are saying that it's not enough. The president of the Pan-Hellenic Medical Association, Anathos Alexidos, said the lockdown ought to be extended by 2 weeks, adding that he doesn't see a drop in case but a stabilisation at high levels. Anyway, he also said when we have 595 patients in intensive care units and a relaxation of measures brings in another 100, we will give up. The health system has a limited number of available spaces. Also, the medical president said that a relaxation should happen when the new daily cases rate drops below 1,000 and the number of patients in intensive care also drops to a safe level for the system to be able to cope with. Anyway, meanwhile, the Manita Pagoni, who's the president of the Association of Athens Piraeus Hospital Doctors, said that the week of the 7th to the 14th will be crucial. Also said that also another scientist who's come out about the extension, the professor of microbiology, Avidis Vatopoulos, he told Greek Sky TV last night that the lockdown could be lifted in stages depending on the geographical area and on activity. Vatopoulos added that schools should be first, then retail and restaurants, cafes, bars and clubs last. Regarding travel inside the country, he said the scientific committee that advises the government has not yet, but that it was travelling people spread across the country that were spreading the virus. And while cases appear to be dropping in Athens and Thessaloniki, the hardest hit areas, this is not happening in the rest of the country, he said. He said that the pressure on intensive care units must abate before the lockdown is relaxed. Vatopoulos also said the infection rate is dropping, but the crucial factor is the capacity of the health system. So again, mixed review there. I personally would like to see it lifted on the 7th. I think a lot of people feel they've been in lockdown long enough, and people should be able to go out and take their chances. Yes, protect the vulnerable, 100% agree with that. But I think with a lot of people at the moment, another week on top of the week we've already done might be a bit of a step too far. But anyway, we'll see what people's reaction is to that. I know in England at the moment, it's just gone into a crazy amount of madness. People not quite understanding the tiering system that Britain has brought in. Certain areas are allowed to be open, other areas are deemed high risk, and more confusion over there than I think there is over here at the moment. And in fact, in a lot of ways, I think we're handling it a lot better over here than what the UK are handling it, that is for sure. Anyway, just a quick story, which is rather a long one, actually, about Kalamaki at the moment. Those of you like myself who've lived in Kalamaki or been on holiday in Kalamaki have been hearing the stories of the sewage system. Yeah, Kalamaki has been waiting in vain for many years for the completion of that very important infrastructure project, the sewage network, which actually started back in 2007, believe it or not, but has never been completed and was never delivered, and was never received by the competent receipt committee due to defects. Anyway, what is particularly striking is the fact that while the case has reached the courts of justice, no liability has been attributed, and it has not been clarified whether the contractor alone is responsible, apparently because the evidence submitted was not sufficient to substantiate criminal or other liability. Anyway, it's not uncommon for local media to be notified of sewage leaks from the troubled network, and it's not uncommon for the media to receive complaints about the poor condition of the road networks at points where the pipework passes. However, justice investigations have not reached the point of being held accountable. From time to time, the municipal authorities and the administrations of the DIAS have made promises to clarify the case, as well as to complete the sewage network in the department where there are defects, but in vain, since the promises were kept in words and have never been acted upon. In other words, the whole system has become a white elephant. Anyway, it seems the local mayor now is exasperated from people complaining. Last summer, about the problems with it. He has now said that an investigation is going to go into it because he doesn't want any more hassle from this case. He's also said as well that 3.3 million euros was used of EU money for this project, and also other money from other areas. And also the mayor is also in charge of the DIAS, which is the governing body responsible for water and sewage here on the island. And he has said that he will be doing an investigation. He wants to resolve this problem with the sewage works. And he doesn't want the repeat performance of this year, where basically people were complaining that the sewage, considering we didn't have that many tourists here, so I think this was over a number of years, that basically the sewage system down in Kalamaki was not able to cope with what is demanded upon it. So anyway, nice to see that some action is being taken in regards to the sewage works down in Kalamaki. I've got to be honest. It was always a standing joke. It was like, where does the sewage go? It just goes round and round in a circle through the piping underneath the roads, which is supposed to go right the way down to the sewage farm that is at the airport. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that story, because I know sewage issues is also a problem that Sulavia's had from time to time. Although I've got to be honest, within the last year, I don't know what they've been doing, but some of those problems seem to have been alleviated, especially the problems down by Bowlam Over, the bowling alley. The road along there used to be terrible with effluent coming up, but some work was done in there to take some of that pressure off. Whether that's a stopgap job or whether a proper job was done, only time will tell. Also as well, we're always talking about the olives being harvested at the moment. However, just another thought to bear in mind for those people up in the northern part of the country, especially in the area of Kazani, is at the moment the yearly saffron harvest is being taken in. Saffron, probably one of the most rarest and most expensive spices in the world. It is also one of those spices that is very difficult to harvest. There is no automated way of doing that harvest, only by hand. And so at the moment up in that area, believe it or not, it's such a rare spice. I was looking at the figures yesterday. Just to make 1 kilo of saffron, you have to pick the stems of 150,000 flowers, physically separate the stems from the stigma within the flower, and put those to one side, because that is where the saffron is produced from. So it's very labor intensive. It's very hard work. Not sure how they're getting on with trying to bring that harvest in with all the restrictions on with COVID, whether they're all just working as normal, obviously practicing social distancing as they're picking the harvest. But it was just an interesting story that just caught my eye yesterday. Right, let's have a quick look to see who's online. Because I'm up so early this morning, there isn't that many people in the chat room at the moment. Got to say a quick hello to Denise Tyndall. Nice to have you tuning in. Barry Leatherdale is watching as well from Essex. I'm not sure what the weather's like in Essex today. Mark Tiley is also watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in as well, fella. Also, Lyndon is tuning in as well. Nice to see you tuning in. I've actually just reminded me something. At the moment, you probably already have heard that EasyJet at the moment are doing a big sale on flights for next year. We know of a few people already who have already bought flights for next year. So if you want to get yourselves online for cheap flights at the moment, EasyJet, I'm not sure if it's a Black Friday sale or something of that nature, but at the moment, flights for next year, they're up. EasyJet have got flights obviously from Bristol, Gatwick, Manchester, Liverpool. Go and check the website And if you want to book your flight now, a friend of ours, I think, has got a return flight for as little as about £41 or something, some crazy low amount. So you might want to go and check that out, all right? So anyway, Mark Tiley, nice to have you tuning in. He says, quite good morning in the UK at the moment. I'm so pleased about that. Catherine Coldwell, she's tuning in. I think Catherine actually is from the United States, but don't quote me on that. But anyway, nice to have you tuning in, Catherine. Barry Leatherdale says, morning, Ginge. Morning there, Barry. Dave Matthews is saying good morning. Rosewood is also tuning in. Gail is also tuning in here as well from Hot Lips Bar. Nice to have you tuning in. Give you a wave back, Gail. Amanda Gregory, she's also tuning in as well. Nice to have you tuning in from up the road. She says, morning, Ginge, and have a good day. I will do. We'll see how it goes. I've still got more to tell you. All right. Dennis Patrick Carroll in Cyprus is tuning in. He's up, Breezy. It's this 2-hour time difference. It makes all the difference. Anyway, morning, Gingy says. Gary Eden is also watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in, Gaz. Hope things are great where you are. John Atherton is also tuning in. Dave Bowen is also tuning in. Everybody's starting to turn up now. Maureen is also watching as well. She's round the back on her balcony, probably. Dawn Usher is also tuning as well. Nice to see you, Dawn. Oh, Dawn used to be a resident here, living in Kalamaki. You remember the the saga of the sewage down there as well, my lovely. Nice to see you here. Mark Billinen is also watching in as well. Dave Matthews says he's in Bryce Norton, actually. He says it's -3 here at Bryce, just waiting for the temperature to rise, then off fishing on the Thames at Tadpole Bridge, just outside of Brampton. Will you take care? Make sure you got your thermos and your warm gear on, sitting round. And also, it's a great place to sit and reflect when you go fishing. I've been watching some broadcasts that people do when they're fishing. A lot of wise words from fishermen is the best way to describe that. So anyway, you have a nice day, Dave, and you're fishing. Let us know how you get on and what you catch. Probably carp, probably. Be lots of Polish people trying to nick it off you for Christmas. Anyway, Billy Hester is watching as well. Barry Leatherdale, it's a foggy night, it was, but it's a heavy frost now. Rosewood, lots of smiles. Thank you, Rose. And Julie Stevens is watching as well. So thank you for you guys. Just to let you know what's happening today, as I've said, a bit of an early broadcast. Jane and I, we're going down to the OAED office in this morning. The saga of the OAED payments, or ECA, as some people better know it as, is moving forward. Some of the people that have been affected by this, they have either been in touch with us or Jane has been in touch with them because they're people that Jane works with. They've been on to their accountants and said, look, this is not fair. We've done the work. We've done the time. We should qualify. And just because the company ends up getting its status changed, that shouldn't affect the employees because that's not the employee's fault. Anyway, one of the people that we've been speaking to, her accountant is head of the accountants union here in Zakynthos. He's supposedly writing a letter now to people higher up the chain. Hopefully he will put the case forward, but it also needs other people and their accountants to also, if you're a seasonal worker who is now finding that you are being told that you're being denied your unemployment benefit because the company that you worked for had its status changed from a seasonal business to a full-time business, and you've been a victim of that, please, 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 tell your accountant, be firm with your accountant. Our accountant, I've got to be honest, was quite shocked actually. And when we presented Jane's papers to her, she said, you've done the time. It's not right. You need to go and speak to OAED. They were very forceful, and that is what is needed. I think these are the people that are going to slip through the net and not get anything. And the danger is, if you don't get your unemployment benefit for this year, because of that technicality, and it is a technicality, it means that you've got to start the whole process again if you manage to get a job next year where they say they're going to pay Eureka, and you may in effect have to requalify, which can take up to 2 years to requalify. All right. So once again, if you're somebody that was a seasonal worker and you found that you're now being denied your ECA benefit, your OAED benefits, because of the change of the status of the company that you worked for, please go and see your accountant. Also, please get in touch with OAED as well. The more people banging on OAED's door complaining about this, complaining to the accountants, so the accountants can get motivated and activated. I've already sent this story off to national media. I've not had any reply back at the moment from them. I'm going to hit them again, because these are the people now that are going to slip through the net over this unemployment period. All right. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm hopefully going to do a show this afternoon. 5 o'clock Greek time, 3 o'clock UK time. If you want to request, pop it down in the comments below. I'm also putting Sam's birthday party up online, Sam Curtis's birthday party. He listened to the first half hour last night. He says he absolutely loved it. So, and if anybody wants an online birthday party done, let me know. We'll sort something out. All right. But once again, thanks for tuning in. We've got to go, and I'll see you tomorrow. You take care. Oh, I'll see you this afternoon, actually, between 3 and 5 UK, 5 and 7 Greek time. 2-hour difference, remember, and we'll see how things go. Anyway, you have a great day, and I'll speak to you again soon. Ta-ra.